Software testing metrics give you concrete data to measure the quality of your testing. Metrics help you spot areas that need improvement and make sure you're meeting your quality goals. It's like a report card for your tests. There are various ways to gauge success when testing software. We will focus on the most common class of software testing metrics, code coverage metrics. Code coverage measures how much of your code is executed when you run your tests. These metrics are used to ensure comprehensive testing of all code paths, especially in safety-critical applications. There are 5 main metrics of code coverage, and they exist along a spectrum. At one end of the spectrum, the metrics are simpler to measure and easier to achieve. On the other end, they are more robust and comprehensive, but require more time and effort to achieve. The simplest code coverage metric is commonly called function coverage. This metric measures how many of the functions and object methods in your project have been executed at least once by your suite of tests. Achieving 100% function coverage ensures each major component of your code has been touched by your tests at least once. But it doesn't mean all the code in those components have been executed. Statement coverage goes one step further and checks if every statement is exercised by your tests. Achieving 100% statement coverage ensures you have no dead or unreachable code in your project. For example, this simple function contains an if statement. And if our tests always evaluate the if statement as false, then the body will never execute, preventing us from reaching 100% statement coverage. To achieve 100% statement coverage for this example, we need only a single test that evaluates the if condition as true. While achieving this is a good starting point to ensure that most of your code paths are executed, it cannot guarantee that every branch or decision has been covered. Decision coverage, sometimes also called branch coverage, ensures that every decision in the code is tested with all possible outcomes. This includes control statements, like if-else statements, switch case statements, and while loops. In our example function, we reached 100% statement coverage with a single test. But to reach 100% decision coverage, we also need to test what happens when the if statement is false. However, decision coverage only considers the result of the combined decision. Condition coverage takes the next step and ensures that each individual condition in control structures is evaluated as both true and false during testing. In our if statement, we have 2 conditions joined by an or statement. Decision coverage would only check if the combined expression evaluated as both true and false while testing. But condition coverage checks that both conditions individually evaluated to both true and false. Achieving 100% condition coverage means that all possible outcomes of each individual condition are tested. Our final code coverage metric is modified condition decision coverage, often abbreviated as MCDC. MCDC ensures that each condition within a decision has been shown through our testing to independently affect the outcome of the decision. Consider our example if statement. To achieve 100% MCDC, we need a combination of tests that show changing each condition while keeping the others constant will change the result. This would require 3 tests. First, we cause both conditions to evaluate to false, which results in the combined condition being false. Next, we set the first condition to true while keeping the second false, showing that changing the first condition individually changes the overall result. Finally, we do the opposite and set the first condition to false and the second to true, showing that changing the second condition changes the result. There is no universal best software testing metric to use. The best metric for your project depends on your goals. If you have an existing project with no tests, you may want to start with a simpler metric like function coverage or statement coverage to provide achievable short-term goals while you focus on the most foundational components of your code first. Then you can move to more sophisticated software testing metrics as you progress. On the other extreme, if you are building safety-critical software in industries like automotive, aerospace, or medical devices, then achieving 100% MCDC is often required by industry or government standards. And you may want to plan for that from the start. Regardless of your application, Code coverage metrics represent a balance between robustness of results and the effort needed to achieve them. Now that you know which software testing metrics you can use to measure success, you can learn more about other aspects of software testing by viewing all of the videos in this series. And to learn more about writing unit tests in MATLAB, see this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.